Hey y'all, it's Vicki and welcome to another video. So if this is your first time here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. So this video might get a little bit long, so you might want to grab you a coffee, soda, pop, tea, water, wine, cocktail, whatever it is you drink, and settle down and let's just get into it. Okay, this video is about Sarasota Tim, and I'm going to try to stick to it just being Sarasota Tim. And this is I'm starting back with my weekly summary. Of course, this could go bi-weekly. It just depends on what's going on. This week, of course, I'm sure a lot of you know what's going on. I'm sure that I'm not going to tell you anything that you didn't already know, because I know there's other people out there making videos besides me, and that's fine, but I'm just going to give you my take, and if I got a comment to add to it, I will. Now, this video is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a hater in a true sense of the word. Yes, I guess that I'm a channel who's picking on Tim. I don't mean it hateful. I just am trying to make people aware that he's not everything that he claims to be. That's all. And sometimes you have to remind people of that. I have to remind myself of that. Because if you watch him enough, there may be days that he's not too bad, and then the next day he'll make you totally aware of everything that's going on. Now, some people say you don't only disturbed people. I've heard this before. Disturbed people, or something mental's going on, or else you wouldn't watch channels that you don't like. I don't necessarily agree with that. It's no different than you watching a TV show that, one week you might like it and the next week you don't. I mean, that's the way I look at Tim's channel. I look at Tim's channel as a soap opera. It's a male soap opera. I like male soap operas. That's why I watch wrestling. That's why I'm a big race fan. It's a soap opera. And, every once in a while a woman comes into the picture. Usually it's the same one. And I'll get into that too. But anyway, we'll go ahead and get started. But like I said, this video is for entertainment purposes only. Don't mean any ill will toward Tim. I don't want anything really bad to happen to him. If he falls down and, scrapes his leg or his butt, I won't get upset, but I don't want anything major to happen to him. But I think a lot of the stuff that is going on, he's going to be bringing it on himself. But that's Tim. That's the way he likes to do it. He likes to live on the edge. All right. So this was week 1 of January 2026. And he goes down to Punta Gorda and picks up a Black Widow 600-pound capacity motorcycle carrier, which he purchased, I think, off of Facebook Marketplace from a guy. And of course, they went ahead and installed it on the back of his truck. And because the plan is that he's going to buy him a dirt bike, or whatever kind of bike you want to call them. I know nothing about motorcycles. Don't really care to know anything about motorcycles. And so I'm only going to be speaking from what I'm seeing. Now, I did, print out the AI synopsis. I also printed out some comments. And we'll just, go from there. If I think I need to refer back to a video. Now, the one video I do not have here is the newest one he just put up. He just put this up, I guess, on the way for me coming home. It's 5 o'clock right now. It says 1 hour ago, so I guess I didn't catch it. I've been watching Storm Chasers, so I hadn't noticed that he put another one up till just now. All right. So Tim goes into a drama video. I think this was Monday night. It was either Sunday night or Monday night. Talking about how he He emphasizes his belief that true happiness and fulfillment come from living life on one's own terms. And I agree with him on that. And he's going to embrace the solo life. Now, if you go back into his videos, he has supposedly embraced the solo life before. This seems to be something he goes into once or twice a year. And I think when I went back, it was like 8 months ago, he was saying solo. Now, I don't know if this is when his on-again, off-again girlfriend Tammy is in the picture, and then she's suddenly out. We just don't, he doesn't share with us where she is because she doesn't want to be on the channel. And I know that that's probably the main problem that they have with their relationship, is that she has no interest in being on YouTube, and he can't separate the two. Or I don't think he can. Maybe he is, and we just don't know about it. So, of course, he talks about that the challenges of dating in later life. Tim describes the complexities of dating in his 60s, citing baggage from ex-spouses and children and the difficulty of finding genuine connection. He believes that pursuing love of his current stage of life is not a priority. Okay, he talked about in this video, I believe this was a video, that his wife's worked. His wife's didn't work. His wife's did work. All this could be done with a background check. I'm not telling you to do a background check. I've not done a background check on him, but I know people that have, and they sent me some things. So I know that, I'm not going to say they all worked all the time, but they did have jobs. Now, some people seem to think he's drawing Social Security from one of them. I have never been one of those that thought that, but that's just me. I just feel like that. I feel like that somewhere along the line, he's not sharing something. He worked for either a major car dealership that had benefits, or he actually really did pay into the Social Security system. I know with Tim it's hard to tell, but I just don't think he's drawing off of one of those wives. Now, also, some people talk about that his Social Security is too high for what they think that he paid into the system. Now, remember, when he first started drawing, when he was not drawing as much as he is now. This is after the raises, or whatever you want to call them, have come into effect, that he's drawing as much as he is. Now, one year there was a substantial increase, and I say substantial, it's not really that substantial, but I think it went up like $200 or $300 a month for some people. So I think that that's why he's drawing as much as he is. If he started drawing today, he probably would not be drawing that much. So maybe it was wise of him to choose at 62. But we think he chose at 62 because of everything that was happening with COVID. Now, he does an Amazon haul video where he shows some binoculars, and, he's acting like he don't know how to use them. And I just think that was goofy for the camera. I think sometimes he tries to act like he is dumb. He wants us to think that he's dumb. At least I hope that's what it is. I hope that he's not actually that. And I know dumb is not a word I should be using, but it's what I'm using. I should probably be saying something more medical, or, but I'm just going to say that he tries to make his audience think that he's not very bright. Okay, so in the middle of the week, he goes down to Destination Power Sports in Punta Gorda. So he seems to be going down there a lot. Now, he talks about that, that's such a nice area to live. And I said, when him and Tammy first came back from across the country, and he was talking about he didn't know where they'd end up, or that they would only end up in Sarasota or that area, I said he should look in that area. I think I said more Port Charlotte or Northport, but I just felt that might be a better area because it may not be as expensive. Now, I know right now that area is having they've lost a lot of, with everything that's going on with the immigration right now, they've lost a lot of people down there that were living. And supposedly with the economy, there's a lot of empty houses. Now, Southern Life, who I know that some of you have watched, I'll try to link his channel below. You know, he kind of shows more, and I'm going to say it, more negativity than what Tim shows in Florida and what others show in Florida. You know, others will show you that everything's thriving in Florida, whereas Jose kind of paints a different picture. My thing is, I think the reason he paints that different picture is because he gets more views. He definitely gets much more views than Tim does. That's why I say, and I said it in a video that I didn't upload, but I just think negativity right now gets more attention. If you title your video with something negative, it gets pushed more. All right, so we're going to move on. So he goes to the Destination Powerport, Motorsports, whatever, Power, and he meets Julian, who is a salesman, and he has Julian to walk around the showroom and show you everything that's happening with what they have in stock. Of course, Tim finds out during this that he was too short to get on the bike that he wanted. Now, it's a good thing he hadn't bought one from somebody or hadn't agreed to buy one from somebody, because he would have not known that. Now, I did a little parody about it. And, you know, I got people coming after me about it. And I'm like, he is the one that said he was too short for it. I didn't. He said it. So, you know, I don't know if he's exactly what he says he's 5'10" with a 30-inch inseam. You know, I find that hard to believe. I'm not going to say it's not possible, but if Tim was really slim, his torso should be really, really long, if that's the case, if he's actually 5'10". I'm going to say I think he's more 5'7" to 5'8". I know it's only 2 inches, but in the scheme of things, it's still a lie. It's just like I could tell you I'm 5'6", but I'm really only 5'3". I mean, it's still not true, and it makes a difference. So the one thing I noticed about him and Julian was that he would ask Julian questions, but in the middle of Julian answering the questions, Tim would start answering them. So he didn't let Julian speak. And I find that rude. But that's Tim. That's the way he does. Okay, so the next day, because they didn't have what he wanted, he goes to Sarasota Power Sports and buys a Kawasaki KLX 300. And of course, there's a lot of people wondering, where does he get this money? Where does he get this money? Well, it could be that, as I said before, he never wants to spend his money. That's why he begs for donations. And he does beg. And if you're here the first time, he does beg. I mean, he's all the time talking about, buy me a coffee. He's constantly talking about coffee in his video. So the buy me a coffee is a subliminal thing that will stay on people's mind. Oh, well, I'm just going to give him $5. Or, you know, I'll give him enough to buy him a coffee for a month or whatever. And, you know, if you want to give him $100 a month, $5,000 a month, I really don't care. But I just hope you know what you're doing. And I hope there's not anybody out there giving him money that it's taken away from anything they do. I don't believe Tim is a charity you can write off on. And but if that makes you feel good giving to Tim, hey, have at it. All I'm saying is that Tim, I think, saves more money by trying to spend other people's money. Now, this is where I'm going to come in with Tammy. Now, I did see a thing, somebody sent me a little screenshot of something showing that Tammy was in the area, the Delray Beach area, along the same time Tim was over there during Christmas. Now, this was after she had had the Cadillac serviced after Christmas. But she was still in the area. Now, it's obvious, if you know that, I don't know the VIN number, but if you have the VIN number, you can look up to see when it was serviced. And if it was serviced at a dealership that's keeping track. So she's obviously bringing the Cadillac back down to Delray to get it serviced. Well, if she's in North Carolina, there's Cadillac dealers there. I mean, you don't have to just bring it back to Delray. I just don't understand why she only wants to get it serviced at this one. Now, I know the car is supposedly leased, and I don't really understand all there is about leasing cars. It's just kind of weird to me that she only gets it serviced in Delray. All right, no. Or maybe she got it serviced one time in Sarasota. I don't know, but I think it's always in Florida. We've never seen anywhere that she's had that car serviced in North Carolina. So I start questioning. The house over in Delray, her daughter's and son-in-law's house, has not sold. It still says pending on Zillow. So they've not closed. So could she still be in the area? And my guess is I think she still is. Now, do I think she gave Tim any money on this bike? That's the question. It's a $1 million question. Who knows? I think it's possible. I think that she could have given half of it and he had the other half. But what gets me with Tim with buying a bike, and I'm not trying to tell him how to spend his money, but he comes on there griping about having to spend this much at the doctor, or, spending this much on a Diet Coke, and I know that video was years ago where he talked about, his son telling what the Diet Cokes are now over at Rocco Tacos. They might be $10 now. I don't know what they are. Anyway, I just feel like that Tim does not want to spend his money on certain things. He only wants to spend the money on his toys. And somehow AI, or he's convinced himself that this is going to change his channel. I do not believe for 1 minute this bike is going to change his channel. I do not think he's going to attract geezers to his channel unless he was to do something crazy. Anything's possible, but he's not gained any subscribers in the past 2 months. As a matter of fact, he's supposedly lost some. Now, I'm not saying my channel's growing astronomically, but I will say it has grown in the past month about 100 subscribers. There's been on an average 10 a week. And, but they may be gone next week. I don't know. I'm just saying that I'm kind of holding my own, gaining slowly, which is what I like to do. I don't want to be the type that just, all of a sudden, like Tim says, you get 20,000 subscribers in a day. I would rather do it slowly. All right. So then he shows some stupid knife. And I'll say it's a stupid knife. It's a cold steel knife. Now, we used to sell these at the flea market. Something like it. I know we sold cold steel before. That was some Dave would get at wholesale. We'd sell them. And, in my opinion, he paid way too much. But whatever. I know we didn't charge that much, and they're practically nothing if you're getting them wholesale. So just throwing that out there. All right. So yesterday he only did one video, and it was, basically nothing. Just walking around or standing there in his kitchen, great room, dining, living room, whatever you want to call it, in his camper. Just talking about what all he had done that day, but yet there was nothing on video. And, I've always said if it's not on video, I question if it even happened. But anyway, there was nothing on video that I saw. If you saw something different, you can let me know. But this morning, he starts talking again about solo travel. And that he's moving away from traditional relationships. So here's my thing is, Tammy must be getting ready to go back, or... My thing with Tammy is that Tammy does not want to travel with him on these little trips he takes. And trust me, y'all, they're not that, I mean, he might, at the most, he could be gone as a month. But she doesn't want to go on those. And I can't blame her. Because she's going to get in his way of what he wants to do. And then if she's with him, then he thinks that he has to entertain her, which he should, you know, especially if she's paying the way. So I think he builds into this head that this is solo, but yet she just stays back and does her own thing. And then when he gets back, they get together. I mean, that's just, I think that they are friends with benefits. And for whatever reason, she may give him a little bit of money every now and then. You know, maybe she feels like she owes him something. We don't know what happened in the past with them. So, you know, I just think that's what happens. Now, this next video, or the last one that he's done, you know, this morning he said he needed to do more videos today. So it says Pittman Outdoors Backseat Bed for Truck, 60-inch backseat air mattress for truck, vans, and large SUV. So I guess he's got another air mattress or something along the lines that he supposedly is going to sleep on as he goes on this trip out west or wherever he's going. So I happened to look at the comments because that's where I go first. Before I even look at the AI thing, I look at the comments because I can learn a lot from the comments, almost more than I can from the AI thing. So we've got Hindu E22. Hello, Mr. Baker. You are crushing it for sure. You are a blessed man. My opinion, for what it's worth, which to most is absolutely nothing, put that motorcycle rack and motorcycle on the back of the Flagstaff. I believe your rig has a hitch equipped on the back. Head out west, relax, and enjoy yourself in the comfort of your own home. And the next one, Mr. Prim Mo. Hey, Tim, I'm 65, and looking at your situation, it's similar to mine. At our age, I think it makes more sense to plan on staying in a motel and use sleeping in the truck for emergencies. Okay, y'all. If you know Tim at all, you know he's not going to spring for a motel every night. Now, if Tammy was along with him or she's footing the bill, then he might. But he's not spending his money on a motel every night. He's just not doing it. Now, I don't believe he can camp he can spend the night in his truck in a parking lot somewhere, but maybe he can. I don't know. I mean, y'all can tell me different. If he could possibly stay in a Walmart parking lot or a Love's truck stop parking lot, him sleeping in, you know, the bed of his truck with an air mattress and a tent. Something like that. I don't know. And then this one says, Texas, Steve W., how about a shell over the bed of the truck? Then you could sleep in the bed of the truck or maybe a trunk camper. Okay, I guess the air mattress is supposed to be in the back seat. So I guess he could do that. And then this one, Tales of an Asphalt Jockey. I don't know where these names come from. Some of them, you never seen them before, and here they show up. You're far better off getting a tent that's made for the bed of your truck with an air mattress designed for it. It's very compact and sets up with ease. I had one many years ago for camping, and it worked great. You're never going to be happy crunched up in the back of that truck like that. Well, I think we see that. I'm looking at this account here because I don't remember seeing it in his comments, but, you know, he's got cars in there, so I guess this guy's been on YouTube for a while. You know, sometimes these counts are brand new in these comments. That's why you got to look at them. All right. So that's about all that's on that one. You know, if you look at the AI version of it, of the synopsis of the video, the summarization. Come on, computer. It says the video demonstrates the Pittman Outdoors backseat bed for truck, a 60-inch backseat air mattress designed for trucks, vans, and large SUVs. The package includes the air mattress, a separate inflatable bladder that acts as a platform for the footwell area. Of course, it has a 12-volt air pump and 3 different valve adapters. So Tim shows you, says the presenter clears out the back seat of his Ford F-250 Super Duty truck, highlighting the flat floor of his crew cab. Well, isn't that special, y'all? That he goes through all that thinking that everybody that's watching his video wants to see that. I don't. And I think this is where, you know, I'm not saying he's going to lose the women that do watch him, but I think he's going to lose. He's not going to gain any women, I don't think, from this. Not at all. Okay, now, this is from a video yesterday, these comments. And I think this is where he had first, after he had first said he bought the bike. So I'm going to read you some of these comments because they are kind of funny. You know, he's acting like now he wants the comments. Like this morning in the video, he actually pinned a comment. Let me find it here. You know, where he's done with relationships. Okay, he pinned the comment. I know some of my thoughts on relationships might be deep in for some, but it's just my truth. Are you a solo traveler or do you prefer having a partner on the road? Let's talk in the comments. So he's actually decided he needs comments. You know, before he's blocked so many people and stuff, he don't have comments. And I admit, I've blocked a lot of people too. And I also have words blocked because I just get tired of it. And of course, he's got 3 answers to this. And, you know, some of them are saying that they want companionship, and the other one says they understand where he's coming from. Okay, for what Tim's wanting to travel for, yes, he probably should be solo or going with a group of friends, you know, male friends. But I would say most of any male friends, I don't know that he has any anymore, but, you know, they're not into this. That's why I say I don't think he's going to pick up any subscribers along the way. All right, let's look at some of these comments. And these are probably all kind of cynical, sarcastic. Some minimalist lifestyle you got there, Tim. And then the next one, minimalism at its finest. Good old Tim. Remember, this is after he's bought the latest bike. The Kawasaki 300X, whatever it is. Next comment. Please wear a helmet. You'll be in my prayers. And of course, that's coming from a woman. Then someone who evidently hasn't watched him in probably a year or so. When did you get the Ford? And then the next one, whose name is, hey, it's your friend Robert. Stop buying big items. Now, I admit, a comment like that, even on my channel, would tick me off. Because I don't want nobody telling me how to spend my money. And I'm not telling Tim how to spend his money. I just think, I'm just trying to let you know that he saves his money for toys. He wants to spend his viewers' money on coffee and groceries, gas, you know, everyday items. So he saves his money for his bills and to buy toys. Okay, now, let's see how often you use it. Well, as always, I think he uses it. He'll use it quite a bit. But the minute it starts raining and he can't go anywhere or something along those lines, you know, it's not going to be too exciting for him. And anyway, somebody put, this is a woman, Rita, looks on the small side like a teenager or someone short. And then someone else put, it's ZODGULBBY. I don't know. Ever seen that person? I can't believe the number of big ticket items this guy has bought in the last 3 years. It'll be interesting what the haters say. Good entertainment. Well, I wouldn't do it, Zodge or Zoj, whatever your name is. Even if I had the money, I don't think I'd do it. I mean, you're talking about the type when she goes to buy a car, she gets sick. Because she's, I mean, it just, Sorry, the camera cut off. I guess I've been talking too long. Okay, so I wouldn't buy that big a ticket items all the time, but for Tim, I think it's something he's always done. I think he's always had a different car every 2 or 3 years. And then somebody put here, is Tammy gone? I'm not so sure she's gone, but I don't know that she's right there at him in Sarasota, but I think she may still be in Florida. Okay, get you a new truck and camper and go with the 2 new motorcycles. So here this person's telling Tim to go ahead and buy a new truck and a new camper. And then this one here, Sandy by the 4508. You are making my head spin lately. Enjoy your life. And see, that's where he starts to lose people. Is people just get, this is just too much. I just can't watch anymore. And that's where a lot of us get, and that's why we take breaks. And this person says, I just bought a new 2026 KLX 300. Came with 1 year factory warranty. Standard. You might want to check with your dealer if they told you only 6 months. So, who knows? Okay, and this is one of them that I wanted to bring up. Seeing all the jealous haters crapping on Tim's personal decisions to spend his own money is actually disturbing. Obviously not many motorcycle folks here. You can never have too many motorcycles, guitars, surfboards, or firearms, or girls. Figure it out. And he's, got a laughing face. I do not think any of the so-called hater channels, men, women, are jealous of anything Tim has. I don't want to live in a camper. I mean, if I had to, I would, but I don't want to. I don't want to have to get in that situation. And, and when I say, sometimes I know that comes across kind of harsh, but, because, I have my friends, Alex and Cindy, who do. But, I mean, if that's what makes you happy, that's fine. But the only reason I think Tim is in a camper is because that's all he can afford. Or that's all he wants to pay. It's one or the other. I just don't think Tim is mortgage material. As I've said before, he don't want to pay somebody to mow the grass or mow it himself. He just doesn't want the responsibility. I think, too, he doesn't want to be in an apartment because, yes, there are rules. And Tim don't like rules. There's still rules where he lives, but he's okay, I guess, with the rules they have. All right. But I can tell Mr. Jerry Sanders, 9101, that none of us are jealous of Tim. And then somebody said, that's no Honda. And then someone said, that'll look sharp in that gazebo. Of course, we've not heard anything about the gazebo. Did the gazebo go back? And this one says, awesome machine, trail cam action, going to be epic. The haters are losing their minds over the bike. So sad and jealous, although he didn't really say sad, and jealous they post such trivial, whatever that's supposed to mean. I don't know. Anyway, like I said before, there is none of us jealous. Come on, people. I mean, now, if it was somebody that had millions and millions of dollars, that lived in this big mansion, I mean, I could kind of see why that we might be a little bit envious. But he's not that way. And here's someone that's buying a 2026 Honda NX 500 in blue, the blue with the clutch. And, I think some of these people, there are probably new ones that maybe have come over from the bike, but he's losing as many. Anyway, it's a wash, but I think he is losing more than he's gaining. And these people like this, they won't hang around long. They'll get bored and move on. They're not like us, haters who stay around just to see what happens. And that's what it is, people. I've got myself invested now almost 3.5, 4 years on this man. And I know that sounds like I'm obsessed, but it's not. I just want to see what happens to him. I've made some good friends, that's in this community. And it's something we talk about. That's all it amounts to. I'm not mental. I'm not obsessed. It's just fun. We're having fun. And then you've got the ones over here who want to kind of like to beat us up for stupid reasons. And then they say, we can't take it. We can take it. It's just I don't know any of us that I don't put anything, I have never said anything even remotely bad about Stu as far as his looks or anything like that. I don't understand why he wants to get so mean with me. And I mean, I understand he does it to Ray too, and I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I mean, I've said before, it has to be that he really is obsessed with Tim. And I hate to say that because I know that I don't want to think that he is. But I just don't understand why he wants to cut. It's like, and I'll put up a comment. I'll try to remember to put this comment up that was left on my channel. It was left in not the held for YouTube, but then the really bad folder that it's, you've got to go through 2 or 3 folders to get to. Comment. You've got to click on that. Are you sure you want to look at these hidden comments? All that stuff. Let's see if I got any right now. And, the name is similar to what Stu was using as that style 6969, but it might be 1 letter off. So I know he can come back and say, oh, that wasn't me. I don't know if it's him or not. They're blocked now. That's all I got to say. Whoever it is, they're blocked.
Front row shuffles personnel looking.
All right. Don't want to see you right now, Eric. NASCAR. Manage videos. I'm just going to see if I happen to have any comments that's been hidden. I've got a bunch here from today that I've not answered. So I'll have to go back and do that. But published, held, apply, show hidden comments. Oh no, there must be some there. Let's see what they say. Oh, this is from, I'm not going to say who it's from, but actually it's a nice one. It says, Miss Vicky, I don't want to seem like a sexist male, but I've seen some of your TikTok videos and you look extremely sexy with lots of makeup and hair. Guys like that stuff. All right, I'll go look at this person here. I've never seen them before. So that if it's a new channel, then that tells me that it's probably... No, it says join September 25th, 2021. Maybe they're a real person. I don't know. You know me, I have to look and see when they joined to see if it's a new one. Well, I'm going to click it. Okay. I don't see nothing wrong with that comment. I guess the sexy part, that's a nice compliment, I think. Whether he means it or not, it's still a nice comment. And let's see if I got anything in here I need to answer that's in my comments right now. Somebody's asking me how I do the AI stuff. It's an app, Sora, S-O-R-A. I think there's also Sora too, but I don't know that that's an app. I think that might be on the desktop. I don't know anything. I just use the regular Sora. And let's see. This was a lot to do with my video from yesterday. All right. Okay, here's someone telling me I need to go to the gym. All right, let's see who this is. Let's see how okay, their channel was made in 2022. Let's see what he says about going to the gym. Of course you are tired as can you go to a gym and do the elliptical mover? It's fun and gets you up and around. Well, I don't know, because in Florida, Planet Fitness and Crunch Fitness, they are big box gyms. People are all heavy people. Don't know, or who cares? Everyone is 250, men and ladies. And so you look 50s, easy and cheap entertainment. Where else can you use $1 million worth of equipment for $15 a month? You are an intelligent, nice lady. I wish you were near me, but in 3 hours south of Miami in Bogota, Colombia. Now about your channel. You can talk well for a half hour straight and not lose concentration. That is great. So go for it. Well, I mean, it wasn't too bad. I thought they were going to say something about my body or something. You know, yes, I could go to the gym, but I just don't do it. That's just what it amounts to. Just don't do it. And then he leaves another one. You're smart and funny. And into storms, no drama, news, car racing, some sightseeing. Please, plus makeup and fashion. That is plenty of subjects. And yes, it is. And I do plan to talk more about NASCAR this year. Well, at least I'm going to try to start out talking about more of it. And actually, NASCAR-wise, they are going to be practicing here at the track on Tuesday. I'm trying to decide if I want to take off and go watch. I know Dave wants to go, my partner in crime. He wants to go. And no, we're not married, but we have been together for close to 20 years. Anyway, if you're new here, I'm just telling you that. I know this video is way long, so I got to go, y'all. And, you know, if you make it to the end, let's look at an emoji. What can we leave? If you make it to the end, leave me a blue heart. Leave me a blue colored heart. So I will talk to y'all later. Onward and upward, y'all. Love you. Bye.